Hi friends, Simit here from InformedTrades.com. Today is February 14th, 2014, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. This is our daily trading review session. Basically, in these sessions, I review 20-some Forex pairs, the charts I'm looking at, sharing the trades I'm placing, updates to positions that I'm taking. Basically, a way to look over my shoulder in trading, see the charts the way I see them. Hope it provides some value. The idea is it's an educational tool. We have a lot of educational material. If the terms I'm using are confusing, I may gloss over some concepts or things like that. You can ask questions and review a whole bunch of free learning material that we have on InformedTrades.com. Register as a member, participate, and join our community. Okay, so as is customary, I'd like to start with the positions that I have on at the moment. Last night, my target profit on my Kiwi dollar trade got hit. So let's just recap that trade. My euro pound position, that chart that you see on the screen now, that is the one position I have on open. We'll come back to that in just a second. Let's recap Kiwi dollar. So as you can see, we hit this green line. Now I may actually look to stop and reverse here. Traded from the short side, but before I do that, I want to see some reversal candlesticks. If it looks like the market is actually respecting this as a resistance level, there may be an opportunity to trade to the short side. Yeah, alternatively, if it breaks out, it could be traded as a breakout. So we'll see. There might still be, even though I've gotten out of this trade, there may be justification for jumping back in. We'll have to wait and see what the candlesticks tell us. But in any event, I'm out of that. Profit was hit, so that's nice. Going to euro pound. Okay. So here's euro pound. This position, you know, I entered at this red line here. That's also where my stop is. So my stop is now a break even. And nothing yet. Hasn't reached this profit target. We still got, what is it, about 60 pips to go, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, about 60 pips to go before we hit this profit target. We'll see. I may actually move it down depending on how things are going. I really would like the profit target to be, you know, the bottom of the trend line, basically. I think trading this as a channel is now something that I'd be interested in. So if it rallies up to the top of this trend line here, I may look to add. And if it comes back down, exit. We'll see. A lot of it, as always, I will rely heavily on candlesticks and what they're signaling. Okay, so basically that's the only position I have on at the moment. My stop is at break even, so and I do have some orders, but they did not get filled, which I kind of knew or kind of thought they wouldn't get filled. Bunch of orders to short the Australian dollar. Looks like I missed out on that opportunity, so that was definitely, I was thinking about what can I learn from missing that opportunity. And let's actually start with, let's go back to the beginning now. Euro, Australian dollar, so as I'm talking about the Australian dollar and the opportunity I missed on this, I'll sort of share. So basically, the opportunity was to go long here. At this, once I saw this candle, I could have put an entry order in to go long, and it actually may not have gotten filled because after this candle closed, you'll notice this black candle here. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. So you'll see this candle. So after this candle closes, we say, all right, we want to put our entry order here. But this candle doesn't come back, so it may not have gotten filled. I guess that's some consolation for me. But in any event, the idea would be to get filled here and participate on the trend. I did that with Aussie Kiwi, and that was my mistake. I only put on an order with one pair. I should have done multiple pairs, and then they all got filled. Closed one of them. Okay, so Euro Aussie, there may still be an opportunity to come back to this one, so I may still, you know, go long Euro Aussie. We'll see at that same level. I don't know if the market's going to pull back, but to me, it still seems like it's reasonable. You know, we may come back down and hit that entry order. We'll see. Okay, Euro Canada. Okay, So yeah, we've discussed this a good bit. Broken out of this channel. I'm not trading it. I'm watching this. It could be something to learn from. A lot of traders would have gone long already, especially after these candlesticks. Um, as a broke out of the channel, now it's retesting it. Personally, I want to wait. Horizontal lines trump diagonal lines in my worldview, my trading view. So I'm just waiting. We'll see if it gets pulled back to 48.40. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but you never know. It may take a little bit longer. So nothing I'm doing with Euro Canada, and it's been that way. For those who have been watching the session, we sort of see that routinely, or my take at least. Euro Pound, we looked at that already. So that's going well so far. We'll see. Might be opportunity to add coming up, or might hit the profit target. Let's see what happens. Oh, looked at Euro Pound. Euro Yen. Okay. So yeah, actually, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit because we had a discussion about this on InformedTrades yesterday. And let's actually, let me actually go to the weekly chart. That illustrates it better. Okay, and I'll zoom in a little bit more. Let's see. Okay, so that was too much. Okay, so basically, market is reversing at this level. That's this black line. And you can see 1, 2, 3 times the market touched that, reverse, touch that, reverse, touch that, reverse. Really, this one was a significant one. And here, it looks like it could be bottoming in. So that's the basic idea that I'm testing for here. Are we going to, if it's going to come back here and get filled? Now I'm still, what's that, 180 pips, 170 pips away from getting filled, so still have a little bit ways to go, but we'll see. That's the basic idea. That's why I'm long Euro Yen from a weekly perspective, or the order is set to go long. We'll see if it actually gets filled. So that's it for Euro Yen. And just that basic analysis, that 137.80 is a key level the market has respected before. Euro Kiwi, yeah, still in that range. Oh, we did. Okay, let's go to the daily chart here. I think there's yeah, okay. So this is kind of interesting. We are at this trend line. I don't know why I chose such an ugly color for it. Let me change that. Let's see what would be a clear color. Make it dark blue. Is that, yeah, there we go. That's a little better. And we'll make it a little thicker. Maybe not that thick. Okay. Yeah. I'm just wondering if I should go long. We'll come back to Euro Kiwi. There might be an opportunity to go long Euro Kiwi as well. Because I am seeing, so here's just to quickly illustrate what does intrigue me about this opportunity. One, we're basically at or very near the intersection of this support and this horizontal support and this diagonal trend line. Now the price action in general is a little choppy and it's not as bullish as I would like to see, but there may be an opportunity. I can calculate the reward risk and see if it's justified. Enter at the black line basically. We'll see. It does seem to be respecting this level a little bit. We have a head and shoulders pattern here. Yeah, we'll see. I'll come back to this. I'm leaning toward. There's some evidence, but I just don't like to see. If it's gonna be a range bound trade, then I really want to see it fall to the. That's the basic idea of what I'm thinking. I mean, it could work out. Like if you went long here in this thing, it worked out. But just because it worked out doesn't mean it was necessarily a good trade or consistent with your trading plan. So I'll probably pass because I don't think it's really consistent with my trading plan. But I'll come back to that at the end. Okay, so Euro US dollar, which reminds me, I need to probably post an updated version of my trading plan. Hopefully that's something I get to do this weekend. I'll definitely do a video on that, share that as well. Of course, that'll be posted on my blog on InformedTrades. Okay, Euro US dollar. That's really, soaring well. It broke out of, if you recall, I'm going to delete this line because it's no longer valid, but just to illustrate, we did have a trend line. That wasn't exactly it. Has a magnetic feature on this. Okay. So it was a little more like this. Something like that. So now we clearly broke above that. Okay. So that was one of my, I traded through pound dollar. That's fine. But that was, now we're clearly above that. Go back to the horizontal lines. Okay, so you make a case that the market has broken out from this sort of broken above this resistance level here. And this was something else that we looked at, if you look at the monthly chart. Oh, that analysis isn't, well, basically, in 2011, I had said the euro was going to 1.94. And the way I came up to that was with an ABCD pattern here, where you go from this swing low, A, B, right? This is the high in 2008. C. Okay, now from this perspective, D should be, the D is the distance of A to B equals C to D. So A to B is basically 800 pips. Or no, more like 8,000. Yeah, so 8,000 pips. So, if you a little less than that, depends on how you calculate it. But basically, if you add that from point D, which is 1.18, you're going to be around 1.94, which is way up off the chart, way up there. Okay, so anyway, that was, we'll just end this here or something. That was the idea. I still sort of think that idea is a little valid. I wouldn't expect this pullback. This is something also we talked about in InformedTrades. That's why I'm doing this little segue here. So I wouldn't have expected this little pullback, but I still think that idea is kind of valid because this low is held, right? We haven't gone past 118. I think this bull trend is still valid from that perspective as well because we haven't had more than a 50% pullback from this move. So since the euro started rallying at the turn of the millennium, we haven't had more than a 50% pullback. Okay, so on the monthly chart, as you can see. Anyway, back to the daily. No real opportunity. We'll see. There's definitely an uptrend here, opportunity. Perhaps buying this on a breakout. I'm interested that every outlook I'm seeing on the euro is bullish. And also euro yen is correlated to the S&P 500. So, or dollar yen, or the fact that we'll get to the yen shortly, but the fact that we're seeing a resumption of yen bearishness is the correlation with equities would suggest that that's bullish for U.S. equities as well. Okay, so let's go to dollar pair. I've gone through a number of tangents. Hope that's of some interest. I generally try to stay on topic here with these charts. Dollar Canada. Okay, so this is good. I've been patiently waiting to get a pullback on the Canadian dollar. This might be it. I'm getting closer to at least some level that could be of interest. But we still have maybe a day or two more to go. So maybe, well, today is Friday. So maybe sometime next week we'll get our opportunity on dollar Canada. Until then, still more waiting. Dollar yen. Okay. Dollar yen. Now, we'll see. I don't think it's time to go long dollar yen yet. And if we extrapolate this to U.S. equities, I might say it's not time to go long U.S. equities just yet. But we are definitely getting close. So let's see if it actually touches that support level. And then I want to see how the candlesticks shape up there. So dollar yen, we're getting closer. At this point, just need to watch it a little more. That is dollar yen. Dollar Singapore is the third dollar pair I look at here. Okay, this really broke south. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so this channel, I'm just going to delete this channel at this point. Not really valid. And this could be bearish. Looks a little bearish to me. Let's just delete all this whole. There's probably a clear function here somewhere, but um, okay. And we'll remove this. Okay. Well, we're clearly in a big red candle, so there's nothing to do today. The question is, I'm wondering whether this is bullish or bearish or what. Um, this might just be a range-bound chart. Let's actually, here's one idea. You can go from the 50% Fibonacci all the way up here. Okay, so the 200 exponential average, moving average does coincide with the 50% Fibonacci retracement of this swing low all the way up to the swing high. So that could be an interesting buying opportunity. We'll see. It's not the most bullish chart in my opinion. Let's see what the weekly chart tells us, if we can get any insight there. Okay, this is a little well, let's draw a trend line here. Okay, so you can see sort of, there's that trend line here. And from the bottom. Okay, so we have a little bit of a wedge pattern here, a convergence, so we're expecting some type of a breakout. That's interesting. It looks like, this is really interesting. So that's what it looks like. Let's go back to the daily chart. Okay. I don't think I think I'd stay away from dollar Singapore at this point. Perhaps there might be an opportunity to buy at the bottom, or buy here, or sell at the top here at this trend line. This trend line going to the weekly chart, I will give interest to, because it's on the weekly chart. We'll see. At this point, I'll just watch dollar Singapore and see what happens, how price is behaving, if it can touch. This would have been a great short opportunity. So now I'm starting to learn a little more about counter trend trading. Looking at, that's one of my goals for this trading year. Develop a counter trend trading strategy. And I think I got a little bit of insight there, in that when it looks, if I'm trading counter trend on the daily, I want to go to the weekly and see if it makes sense there. See if we can get any insight there. But this is nice. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Perhaps, if it falls to the bottom here, this blue line here, all the way to the bottom, I might go long. We'll see what else is going on with the dollar, with the candlesticks at that time. But for now, I think I'll just stay away from dollar Singapore, probably for the foreseeable future. Okay, so that's a dollar pairs. Now let's go to Canadian dollar. Canada Swiss. Okay. Canada Swiss. Yeah, I still just want more of a pullback, really. We came close, but like I mentioned before, I have traded before with a less aggressive policy, and I have tried things like, oh, I'll enter half now, I'll enter half on the if I get the pullback I want. I've just found it so much better in all regards to wait for good pullbacks. Really being selective about your opportunities. So I'll pass on Canada Swiss. Canada yen. Okay. Canada yen. Yeah. This is another one. The yen is still. We'll see if the yen's turning, but I like the other setups in the yen much more. I like euro yen, dollar yen. Those I feel much more comfortable with. Canada yen. It's little. I'm not really getting a clear read on this. We'll see. This might. The only thing I can say is that this might be the bottom here. But that's sort of the viewpoint I'm trading with the euro yen. It has the same sort of idea. Um, so we'll see. Oh, and I didn't look at the pound. I don't know what's going through my head today. Pound. Let's go to the pound currencies. I was wondering what's going on here. Pound Aussie. Yeah, still want more of a pullback. That's the. I know I say that a lot, but like I mentioned, I think it's worth it. Getting the really good pullbacks that makes trading a lot easier. The other thing then is it's conducive towards getting a much better reward risk setup. You can put a tighter stop, have a larger position, and really get a nice reward risk setup. That's what I'm looking for. Um, Pound Canada, okay, same as Euro Canada. It's really the top of this. To traders who entered here, we broke out of the channel and now we're headed up. That ended up being the correct analysis. Something for me to learn from or think about, because like I mentioned, I like the horizontal lines more than diagonal ones. Although I had that opportunity sort of here. I guess I just wanted a little more pullback. So that in this instance, perhaps there was enough evidence. We had this support level, we had a trend line, top of a channel, and we had those nice candlesticks. So in hindsight's always 20/20, but this is something that may have been good enough, and maybe I was just being too insistent upon getting a good pullback. Um, but that's something to think about. Always learning and improving. That's the name of the game. Um, Pound Swiss. Okay, still in this, range of sorts. Um, I'm not going to really do anything until we go to, the top or bottom with pound Swiss here. Preferably, I think I would prefer to trade this from the upside because the channel is sloping upwards. So if we can fall down to here, I think that might be interesting. But we're still quite a ways away from that. Pound yen. Okay. Pound yen, yeah, still looking at this looks like it's getting ready to reverse. So there could be some people may be interested in trading this from the short side, and actually that may be by some people. I wonder if that's me. Okay, so that is interesting. Let's see if we have a setup on the weekly chart. Okay, the weekly chart still looks more bullish, in my opinion. It seems like this could be the low. So the weekly, I think, is consistent with the Euro Yen weekly. Um, so I won't trade this from the short side on the daily. Pound Kiwi, still in a trading range here. Yeah, basically, if we can fall to the top or bottom of this, that could be of interest. Um, and this is also another one where, so this could have been, I thought about shorting from the top here. Let's see what the weekly says. Yeah, that would have been an interesting, because we're right near the 200, basically touched the 200 EMA on the weekly. So I think that's the first basis of the counter trend strategy that I'm thinking about. If I'm going counter trend on the daily, it should be consistent with the trend on the weekly. Okay, pound US dollar. Oh yeah, so I'm out of this trade. This is my like my all-time favorite trade or one of my favorite trades. And I actually look at this. I should have, I took my profits too early. I could have an extra, wow, an extra 100 pips. So, that's pretty significant. It's still going. Um, but you had basically a lot of signs that this would have been such a great entry point. And I clearly exited too early. Um, in any event, so that's the pound. I'm not really seeing any opportunity. Pound is still looking really strong, so I'm just not seeing enough of a pullback. In hindsight, this is something. So I'm glad I got this opportunity. It was a very clear setup. I think it was a textbook, something to study. But in hindsight, or what I still need to work on in terms of improving my trading is how to get the most of this. Of course, it's very difficult, and generally you don't want to get preoccupied with getting a perfect bottom and a perfect top. But it is something to think about how you can get more. So maybe there'll be a pullback. Now I'll wait for a pullback. Pound's still going strong, so until then, I won't be doing anything. Okay, now time to go to the Australian dollar. We've looked at all the other pairs here. Haven't really seen too much. Now there are some opportunities to go long euro. Euro Kiwi I probably won't do, but there's some opportunities there. A Euro Australian dollar, I am interested in that, but I haven't been able to get a good fill on the Aussie dollar, and I've been trying on that for a week now. Um, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Yeah, okay, so clearly we've broken out of the top here. Yeah, I still want to see if we can, like I mentioned this last week, where let's see if we can go a couple days, maybe middle of next week, and this trend line coincides with this support level and the 200 exponential moving average, that could be an interesting buying opportunity. So that's Aussie Canada. Maybe next week we'll get something on that. Aussie Swiss, I already have the order placed, but didn't get the pullback. It may come up here and fill this here. So we'll see. All hope isn't lost just yet. Definitely don't want to chase, learn the hard way to not chase. That can often result in losses. So Aussie yen. Yeah, this is still really choppy. 50 and 200 exponential are now sitting at the same spot, basically, same price point, 92.23, right around there. But we'll see. There could be, some might say this is an interesting short opportunity, and I could see that. Let me delete this line. Let's actually go to the weekly chart. See if we get any further insight there. It still looks a little choppy here. Delete this line. Let me zoom out a little more. There we go. So that's one trend line. Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing this clearly. This doesn't scream like a great setup for me. I'm just thinking if that black line, 92.23, we do have that is a confluence level for sure. We are seeing the 50 there, the 200 exponential. The market has respected that as a support level previously. But I just don't find it that clear. If I remove this line, does that make it clear? Huh. Oh, maybe this is interesting. Okay, here's the thing. If we get some more candlesticks, right now, that's always... Let's look at what it says on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so we did have that big So the market did respect this a little bit. We didn't make a new high here relative to here. I'll still wait at this point, until it gets a really clear setup. If it doesn't, if it can come back here and make a nice reversal pattern, maybe that'll be worth following up on. But at this point, I'll hold off on Aussie yen. Okay. That's Aussie yen, Aussie Kiwi. I have a short order on this. I'm basically short. I'm short Aussie Canada, Aussie Swiss, Aussie Kiwi. Or I don't think I'm short Aussie Canada. Might as well be. I definitely think there's almost about to put a trade on. Actually, go long that one though. Aussie Kiwi. Yeah. So there's that order at 109.07. Hasn't gotten filled. Nothing you can do at this point. Sometimes the market goes without you. This is a really nice clear downtrend though, so I really like to trade this, trade the downtrend, trade the pullback. That's really nice. That's my preferred kind of trading that I find most easy to do. Aussie US dollar. Okay. Price is now closed above the 50 simple moving average. And this channel I'm going to delete because we're out of this channel now. Okay. I can delete this green line here. So at the very least, I'll clean up the chart. Once an opportunity has been invalidated, it's good to clean up the chart. This still looks a little bearish to me, the price action. But what is the? Let's see if we can get a pattern of. We're still in a pattern of lower highs, right? Lower high, lower high, high. Let's see if we can get a pattern of higher lows established. We got a little bit of that here. There's a nice, counter trend, lower high. Then we saw this. That was a lower high. Here, if we can get a lower high here, that might be interesting. Signaling the market's going back up, or that this is the bottom. But at this point, without a confirmed lower high, without another swing low, the market just might fall all the way back down. So until then, my bias is to the short side. Yeah, and that's fine. I just like the other pairs more. Aussie Canada, Aussie Swiss. Oh, not Aussie Canada, Aussie Swiss. Mainly Aussie Swiss and well, I guess euro. Traded against the euro and the pound to a lesser extent. So nothing. I'm going to pass on the Aussie dollar at the moment. I am still interested in shorting the Australian dollar, but it's going to be against the euro or the pound, I think, if an opportunity does emerge. Kiwi Canada. Okay. So is this an interesting counter trend opportunity? Let's look at the weekly. No, it's still in a bullish trend on the weekly. So bullish trend on the weekly, bullish trend on the daily. Looks like it might be reversing, but I'll wait till it pulls back, and I'll wait to buy the dip here. I am gonna start. I think that was the signal I'm waiting for. If I'm gonna try and counter trend on the daily, I want to see a bearish trend on the weekly. Kiwi Swiss still in that range. Same thing with Euro Kiwi. Basically they're showing the same thing. In this range, I will pass on that until we go to an extreme. Euro Kiwi, I was thinking about going on, but I'm not going to. I'd rather wait for it to go to an extreme. Top or bottom of that range, basically. Kiwi Yen. Okay, so we're seeing this on the yen. It really looks like the bottom is in, or from a yen perspective, the top is in. But we'll see. So I'm still waiting for the pullback. You know, it's stalling a little bit, and we might get that pullback. That's sort of what I'm looking for, mainly on euro yen. Kiwi dollar. Okay, yeah, and this is, you know, when there may be a stop and reverse opportunity shaping up, but let's see how the market reacts to this resistance level. Are we going to see a reversal? Are we? Because I could still definitely, to me, it looks like we're in a trading range here, so I could trade this reversal if the candlestick suggests that, or if it's a breakout, you know, there may be an opportunity to go long. So definitely keep an eye on Kiwi dollar next week. In terms of things I'm doing today, I'm still the only opportunity I see that I like is, and let's go to Euro Australian dollar. Is so now I have a bunch of unfilled orders related to trying to short the Australian dollar, but I think this is still a legitimate setup here. Um, Here you can see it. Basically, I've already got it marked up. You know, long at 50.15, stop at 47.58, target profit of 58.36. We'll see if that gets filled. The stop is further away here to account for, give myself enough room. So probably a smaller position size. But that's about it. I'll have this trade posted on my blog on Informed Trades. That concludes our chart review for today, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. If you have any questions, want to review these concepts, participate, join us, register as a member at InformedTrades.com. One final thought I want to mention is that, you know, I get a lot of messages about people, you know, sending me private messages and emails, things like that. I don't get to reply to all of them. It's easier for me if you post on Informed Trades. But the one thing I do want to mention is that posting, I do these videos, you know, largely because I run Informed Trades and things like that. Also a great way for me to improve as a trader, right? Because I'm documenting everything. I'm going through everything. If you do this, if you keep a journal, if you share your trades and you share them, you can share them on Informed Trades, wherever, that's, I think, an incredibly valuable tool. So I don't see many traders doing that. I would encourage you to do that. You know, keep your journal somewhere, keep meticulous notes, document your thoughts. Then you can review it and you can learn and gain confidence. And this is largely a psychological game. That's about it. Have a good weekend, everyone. See you next week. Join us at InformedTrades.com. Thanks and best of luck in your trading.